What's up, guys? Toogie here, back again with another episode of my New York Islanders GM Mode series here on NHL 16. And after the shocking Cup win, we now move forward with me not really knowing how to approach this, because if we missed the playoffs, the answer was simple. Blow up the team, get every prospect we can, but we didn't miss the playoffs. We made the playoffs and then went on the most ridiculous run we've seen yet in any of my YouTube series. So the question is, how do we approach this, and do we play this realistically? Do we keep the team together, or do we attempt to trade up? There are certain trade partners. I can't help but think people we would have to give up to really trade up and get that impact player. Making the playoffs and winning the Cup has effectively screwed ourselves out of getting an impact player that we really need. Now, we do have some pretty strong prospects, and I'm sure if I gave up one that I could make, I could acquire somebody. But why trade a prospect that we already have just to get another prospect, just because he has a better name and he's the shiny new toy because he came from this draft? Like, even someone like P.A. Parento, who has pretty decent trade value, is on a damn good contract for what we're getting him for. Like, if he were to go to free agency right now, someone would sign him for $3 million. Same with Josh Bailey. He has the contract that you would expect P.A. Parento to have. And sure, he didn't do the greatest in the last season, but we won the Cup. So I just don't know how to approach. And it's a toss-up, really. I mean, because I'll give you guys a look at the picks we have as well. I don't want to take too much time. Of course, the off-season episodes can be a little bit long. I want this to be short. We don't have a second rounder. We don't have a third rounder. We have a shitload of fourth and fifth round picks, which is cool. So we'll be getting some names in the lower rounds. But overall, we only have the 30th overall pick in the first 3 rounds, which could be very, very dangerous. Now, this might not be what you expected, but I think overall it'll be a better move for the team moving forward. We need to build up Bridgeport and turn it into what we turned Utica into with Vancouver, where it is just a well-oiled machine churning out prospects. So to start that, we're going to take a little bit of a hit. We trade the 30th overall pick and prospect Devin Taves, who will probably be a good defenseman. We have plenty of those in the pipeline. To Montreal, those two assets, to Montreal for 2 second-round picks and a third-round pick. So rather than a first, we get those 2 seconds and the third. It's risky because you could argue that, the first and just Taves. I don't know. Let me know what you think of this trade. It's a risky one, but I think in the long run it will help us out. But we are going to miss out on a decent pick late in the first round. Now, because of that trade, we've missed out on a lot of picks. I want to recap this. I got about 3 minutes to do it. Number 1 overall, Patrick Laine. Olli Juolevi goes number 2. Logan Stanley, number 3 to the Anaheim Ducks. Luke Green, Logan Brown, Jake Bean. Chychrun went to the Canucks, which is hilarious. Cam Dineen to Boston. Sean Day to Colorado. Asplund to Toronto. Benson, Keaton Middleton, Howden, Luke Kerwin, Twarniski. DeBrincat goes 16th overall to New Jersey. Jordan Kyrou, 18th overall to Calgary. Pierre-Luc Dubois, 19th overall to Philly. Michael McLeod. Matthew Tkachuk went 21st overall to Ottawa. I know a couple of you wanted me to get him. If we didn't have as much playoff success, we probably would have. Puljujärvi went 23rd overall, which is certainly making me regret a little bit trading down. Girard to Boston. Gauthier to Toronto. Sam Steele to Nashville. Cliff Poo went to Montreal. We could have probably drafted him. Let's see who went at the start of the second. We could have had Carter Hart, which would have been nice. We really kind of could have used the goalie. So, Vitaly Abramov to Calgary. We have a couple other guys here. Boris Katchuk went to Pittsburgh. And that brings us to the 11th pick. Here in the second round, we have a minute and a half to make it. Let's see who is still on the board now that most of the big names are gone. Of course, for me, can't get proper potentials to show no matter how much I scout these areas. But let's see here. For the second round, we still have some pretty big names. Will Bitten is here. Pascal Laberge is here. Noah Gregor. Brandon Gignac is here. Connor Bunman. Alex Nylander is available. Evan Fitzpatrick is available. Sin Schlapfer is available. Oh, God. I mean, it has to be between Alex Nylander and Pascal Laberge, doesn't it? It has to be. And I think, I mean, when we're talking about top-end talent, Alex Nylander, despite being shown as top 9, is probably more likely. I know I scouted the OHL, so fuck that, what that says. God, just off of name alone, I think we have to go with Alex Nylander, guys. So let's do this. Let's see. He's low top 6, which isn't perfect, but it could be worse. Low top 6 for Alex Nylander. We get our next pick. The other pick from Montreal is 2 picks later. Will Bitton has gone to Carolina, so we'll see who's still on the board. I'll probably take Pascal Laberge here, since I know now that we can get both of them. But God, that sucks that Nylander wasn't as good as I thought he would be. Taking a look at the names, Libor Hayek is still on the board, but we're pretty much good for defensemen. Oh, shit, Max Jones is here. All right. God, Jones or Pascal Laberge, I think, is who it's down to. Who do we take? Max Jones from the London Knights or Pascal Laberge? Fuck. Who do we take? I'm going to go with Laberge. I don't know if it's the right choice. He ends up being medium top 9. It probably wasn't the right choice. I want to see who goes to LA. Oh, and there's someone named Volchenkov who's a low elite. See, case in point, draft luck was just a goddamn fluke in Vancouver. Son of a bitch. For the record here, as we're about to make our next pick in the 3rd round, I just wanted to show you guys who went after Laberge. Evan Fitzpatrick is high starter. Jones ended up being low top 9. Gignac ended up being high top 9. Was there anybody else? Hayek was low top 60, so I'm glad we skipped out on him. Was there any other familiar names? Mikhail Sergachev, who I don't even know if he was on the fucking list. He ends up being low elite, going to Calgary that late. The 69th overall pick. I had no idea he was there. And as I go back and edit this footage, if I see his name on that list and I missed it, I am going to freak the hell out, because that is absolutely terrible. Cale Clague went, and like I said, we have good defense, but it would have been nice to have a Cale Clague, or especially a Mikhail Sergachev. But let's take a look here. Ty Ronan goes. Paquin Boudreau is a Leaf. And that brings us to our lone pick here in the 3rd round. This will be the last pick I show you, unless it's a big name that somehow slipped way down the board, because we have way too many 4th and 5th round picks in this draft. So this will be the last pick we make live after, God damn it, missing out on some pretty good talent. I mean, don't get me wrong, things are still looking good. We still have some good prospects. It could just be better. But let's see, Jack Walker's available. Tyler Soy, who was a pain in the ass in the Vancouver series. Luke Phillip is here. Morgan Nouse, Jordan Sambrook, Cameron Askew is available. Ralph Jarrett, is that the last big name? Otto Sompi is available as well. So I think that is where we will cut it off. So let's see. We could take Sompi. We could take Askew. Probably not Sambrook, because we don't need the defense. Or we could take Tyler Soy, who was a pain in the ass when we were with Vancouver. So let's see. We have 2 centers and a winger. We have the power forward. Do we take the Finn or the Canadian? Otto Sompi from the Halifax Moosehead. God, do we go with another 2-way forward? Or do we go with the play? I don't want to take him, because, God, he just sucked to play against. Hopefully he can be that way for us, though. We are taking Tyler Soy, and, your high bottom 6. God damn it. God damn it, you really fell down the charts, didn't you bastard? All right, guys, so here it is. Here is the list of players. Again, it would have taken quite a long time to show off a lot of these guys to you. We ended up taking Carl Grundstrom, 91st overall. Actually pretty good, went to Toronto in real life. We actually drafted as well, 98th overall, Yoel Kiviranta, totally Spanish from the Vancouver series. A couple other decent picks, Evan Cormier and Connor Ingram, back-to-back goaltenders. One with starter potential, one with backup potential. So overall, a pretty good draft, but missing out on Mikhail Sergachev is going to haunt me for the rest of this series. So now that the draft's done, let's move on to the re-sign phase. I don't believe we have too many people we need to bring back, so that's good. And overall, I'm hoping that there's some sort of big fish that we can land in free agency, but I don't know if that's going to happen. If it does, we are probably going to have to trade somebody. But let's see, Linus Soderstrom needs a new deal, so we will bring him in. As you can see, Ingram and Cormier well away from making the AHL or NHL roster anytime soon, unless we sign Ingram to be a backup, although Berube is looking pretty good to be the starter right now. So I don't expect to see either of them anytime soon. Defensively, we can let go of Marc-Andre Gragnani. We can let go of Elliott as well. I don't think we'll necessarily need to keep him. Of course, defensively, things are looking really good. We really didn't take too many defensemen in the draft. Valentine can go. Who else do we have to re-sign? Let's see, we have Suglobov. Lilia we drafted, not looking too good. Chizen we drafted. O'Donnell, Sartoris. Not the best draft. Don't let the Vancouver series fool you into thinking that all of our drafts are amazing. Obviously, having as many first-round picks as we did in that series certainly helped out. Let's see if we can re-sign Strome to 3.5. We can let go of Jackman and Winchester. Now, the big thing, actually, Jesus, Alex Nylander's only a 58 overall. We're not going to be seeing him for a very long time either. I can now see why he was in the second round. Anyway, the big question, Jesus, even Grunstrom was a 61. The big question is, what do we do with the prospects that are almost certainly going to be available? Do we just take every good prospect that we can? Or do we, only sign one or two to kind of keep it fair? I mean, obviously, if we really wanted to turn this series around very quickly, which is weird to say because we just won the Cup, but if we wanted to turn this team, really get Bridgeport going, we could easily just sign everybody available and take it from there, which we're actually going to find out right about now if that's even an option. Let's go to free agency. Moment of truth. This backfired so many times in previous series, looking for the likes of Victor Hedman, Ben Bishop. Will they be here this time? Yuri Hudler's available. Monahan and Goodrow are available. Danny DeKeyser is available. Goaltenders? Nobody. Nobody there. So I think we'll probably stick with Roberto Luongo. We have $3 million in cap space. The question is, are Goodrow and Monahan restricted free agents, which I imagine they are? Let's take a look. They absolutely are. So that would be a ridiculous amount of picks, Stamkos-like from the Vancouver series, to get either of them. We couldn't afford both of them, that's for sure, with them both being restricted. So some interesting decisions coming up on really who we could bring in. There are a couple of guys who could be helpful. As far as prospects go, as you can see, one high top 6, top 4s, top 9s. I would sign pretty much all of these players. Not the low top 9 guys, but there are certainly players that I could sign right now and might sign that could just really turn this series on its head. So to update you guys, it's not looking like we're going to be able to go after anybody. I'd have to trade someone away to get Yuri Hudler to even try and sign him. He would want quite a bit of money just for 1 year. Like, it kind of glitched out at 5, but then the second you move it, it goes back to 8.2. He wants a shitload of money. I'm not willing to give up the picks for Monahan and Goodrow. We'd have to trade somebody and then hope that we could still get them, and I just don't think, I mean, no doubt they're going to be amazing players. I think I would rather have the picks right now. Same with Danny DeKeyser, and that leaves people like Tyler Kennedy, the Kostitsins, Carlo Koliakovo available. And even if they don't go somewhere, and we need to sign somebody, cool, but I'm not going to go for them. What I am doing is going after 4 prospects: Travis Dermott, LaPlante, Cirelli, and Vince Dunn. Not going after everybody, but I'd be lying if I were to say that these aren't the cream of the crop prospects. I'd rather sign Cirelli than have him go to Montreal. I would rather sign I forget the other guy who had an offer from the Rangers. Anyway, Cirelli is ours. Dunn is ours. Travis Dermott. Did I say Tyler? Travis? I don't remember. Travis Dermott, regardless, though, is an Islander, and so is Jan Pavel LaPlante. So we have our 4 players. Let's go to the start of the next season, and we will get the roster set up for Season 2 and our Cup defense. So we've arrived at the start of the new season. I haven't made any trades yet or any signings, but I just wanted to show you what the roster would look like right now if we weren't to make any moves. And there's going to be one particular name on this list that might surprise you. Our new top line is 20-year-old, 89 overall Michael Dal-Colle. What the hell happened? I do not understand how he's an 89 overall. He's entering the league as a first-line forward. I don't know, guys. I genuinely don't know. Regardless, he's here, and he is now on the top line with Tavares and Strome. We have Ladd, Grabovski, Parento, Lee, Bailey, Prince, Kuhlman, Cizikas, and Nelson. Now, we definitely have a bit of a logjam in terms of center. Bailey, Grabovski could both play second. We probably want Cizikas on that third pairing, so we're definitely going to be making some trades. Defensively, it's looking good. Letty Boydchuk, DeHaan, Hamannik, Gormley now an 84, with Pulock, who is up to an 82, and will be with our roster this year. We, of course, still have Luongo, who is at an 89 overall, with Grice at an 84. No scratched players, but as far as, kind of extra accessory players go at this point, Jason Chimera needs to go because of Dal-Colle. We could trade Eric Bolton, who's 40 and didn't retire, and I'm pretty sure is under contract to us for one more season. Defensively now, Klaus Delbeck has been forced out of the lineup by Pulock, so we definitely have some moves we can make, but I just had to show you guys that Michael Dal-Colle is an 89 overall to start. Now, breaking the fourth wall here, I've been trying to find trades for Bailey and Grabovski. My plan is to have Tavares, a true second-line center, Cizikas on the third, and somebody on the fourth. So I come across Calgary. I tried trading for Sean Monahan because his value is a little bit lower, and then I noticed, hey, Calgary doesn't really have that much cap space, and we have enough cap space to sign Sean Monahan. So since they don't want to trade him, I might just swoop in and try like hell to get him on one hell of a deal. Now, the question is the year total. At this salary, they could not afford to keep him. So the question is, how much money do I go for? If I go for 7 years, it might put us into a little bit of trouble in terms of the asking price. But 5 years at, say, 5.75 is pretty damn good for Sean Monahan. And I think it would probably go through, unless I'm overthinking something here. It would put us in a little bit of a difficult cap situation, but then it would make sense to find a trade partner, even though we'd have to take back a shit contract, to find a trade partner for Bailey and Grabovski and just find a fourth-line center. So we are going to attempt to sign Sean Monahan for this year's first and third round picks, which is quite a bit to give up, but I can imagine between Bailey and Grabovski, we could probably get a first-round pick back. And that's exactly what we're going to try to do. So we will see if Sean Monahan accepts our offer. Again, I do not believe Calgary can keep him. That is why he and Goodrow are still there. That is why DeKaiser is still there for Detroit. And we will see if Sean Monahan is going to be the newest New York Islander. He has accepted. The question now is, can the Flames match our offer? And my God, it's making me wait to find out. Can Calgary match the deal? We're going to sim past our first preseason game, and Calgary cannot match it. So with that, Sean Monahan is a New York Islander for this year's first and third round picks. Welcome aboard, Sean Monahan. So I think we're going to maybe try to get Johnny Goodrow too. It might be just a little bit too much money. It might be. but there is a chance that we could walk away with Johnny Gaudreau and Sean Monahan for a first and third round pick. Grabovski has to go. We're probably going to trade Kuhlman. These are guys that I wanted to keep because they did perform pretty well. But if we can get rid of Grabovski, Kuhlman, and Josh Bailey, and then sign Johnny Gaudreau, holy shit. And guys, the hunt for Johnny Gaudreau begins. We trade Josh Bailey, who is more than a serviceable player. He even has a good contract, but he's 26. He's in his last year of growth. He won't end up better than like an 85 overall. We send him and two of the prospects we just drafted, who ended up being AHL potential, Suglobov and Ulvestad, to Ottawa for Zach Smith, who ideally will be our fourth-line center. It's going to be Tavares, Monahan, Cizikas, and Zach Smith. We also get their third-round pick this year, but this is mainly clearing out just that little bit of cap space and bringing in Bailey's replacement. This next trade was like pulling teeth. Clearly, I overestimated the value of Grabovski because of his deal. We're having to retain, I believe, 35% of his contract. We are sending him and Klaus Dahlbeck along with Mayenschein, who we just drafted. I believe we also have him in Nations United. We send those three to the Hurricanes for Andrew Miller and Jake Chelios, who are just, due to the fact that the contract situation is what it is. We also acquire 2 third-round picks and a 6th rounder way the hell down the line. Actually, I don't know if I can even change that to this year's 6th. That's kind of the hope. Will they accept this year's 6th? Okay, they will. Regardless, that is the trade. We have somehow been able to rid ourselves of Mikhail Grabovski's contract. A minor trade as we send Jason Chimera, although we did have to retain salary here as well. We send him to Arizona for Craig Cunningham, who is, of course, a throwaway and will be released at the end of this year. And guys, a miracle has happened. I've been trying for so long to trade Nikolai Kuhlman, and we found a trade partner who was willing to take his full contract. Now, unfortunately, the trade values doesn't work out. I definitely could have gotten some lower picks for this, so that kind of sucks. I could have gotten some draft picks. I didn't expect them to accept this deal straight away, but I'm fine with it. We get out from underneath the Kuhlman contract without having to retain any salary. We take back Nate Ginnon, who of course is a throwaway at the end of the year, but this opens up the opportunity to send a contract offer to Johnny Gaudreau. And our final trade to complete the chance to sign Johnny Gaudreau is reacquiring our first and third round picks. We give up LeBerge, which I'm okay with. He's only top 9. And we give up Matt Finn, who dropped from top 4 to top 6. And we get our first and third round picks back. Easy for me to say. Kind of sucks to give up LeBerge, but when you talk about it opening up the opportunity to sign away Johnny Gaudreau and Sean Monahan from the Calgary Flames, to me, that is more than worth it. We'll just go 5-7 even, and of course they will essentially get the first and third rounders back. But to me, more than worth it, and would complete this roster and really set us up for another cup run. We are 4 games deep into the preseason. Can we get an answer from Gaudreau anytime soon, please? That would be wonderful. He has accepted. Can Calgary somehow find a way to keep him is the question. I don't think that they're going to be able to. Let's see here. I don't really want to go past the preseason. And there it is. Calgary cannot match on Johnny Gaudreau. So, for our first, third, Matt Finn, and Pascal LeBerge, we have signed Sean Monahan and Johnny Gaudreau. Yes, we had to make some other trades, to give up some guys and create some space. Bailey, Kuhlman, Grabovski. But to me, that is more than worth it and really puts this team in a position to succeed this season. So we will put together the team right now and get a look at what we're doing. I cannot believe though Kuhlman was able to go straight up for Grabovski. I don't even want to admit to how much time I spent trying to make that deal work. Let's see, we can go Craig Cunningham here. This better let me call up Goodrow. I'm going to be pretty pissed if this is kind of screwing me out of it. It does not. We are good to go. And here are your New York Islanders for the upcoming season. And the question is, I mean, I'm sure we can run Goodrow on the top line with Dowcall, or we could go with Strome. I mean, either or. I'm not really sure what we want to do here. Obviously, Monahan and Ladd are second liners. The question is, where do we put Johnny Goodrow? And then from here, I mean, we have so many options on what we can really do here. But these are your 12 skaters for the upcoming year. Defensively, it's looking good. Obviously, you've had a couple of overall changes because of all the trades, like Luong goes down to an 88. But this team, particularly because of Michael Dowcall, is looking insane. We are still going to have to make a couple of changes to the AHL. I won't show that in this episode, but we're going to try to sign some guys, bring them in, and see what we can do. But overall, guys, that is it for this episode. This is the team. Let me know what you think of this offseason, because I'm not sure how I feel about it. Did I make too many trades? Was it kind of cheap signing the prospects we did in free agency? How badly did I fuck up in the draft? Although Mikhail Sergachev, I just looked, is only low top 4 potential. But how do you feel about how we handled the draft? Just in general, let me know what you think of this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one as we begin the Season 2 sim. As always, if you have enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to continue following this series, and I'll see you guys next time. Shoot it. Oh my God. I told him to shoot it. Like, I was hoping he'd take a slap shot or something, but I had that goalie paddle down. Just kind of hoping he could do something with it.
Because the goaltender's in perfect position.
Wow, he just snagged that out of the air like it was nothing. That was a good shot, at least.